Welcome back to the United Pubcast for your first match review of the season. It is going to be a long season, but I will count these pre-season victories against Leeds as games going towards this season. So thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, I don't know where Larry is, so you're going to be stuck with me just for today. And we'll keep it a short one, as you can see, or we'll try and keep it a short one as relatively as I can. But as you can see, a little bit of a different setting and have to sort of juggle around one or two laptops and phones, but hopefully the audio is okay. So do let me know if there are any issues. But if you can show a little bit of patience today, that would be good. But I had to come on, and because I'm not going to pass up the opportunity as a plane goes past. As you see, I'm a little bit close to the airport. But if you can hear that, but not going to pass up the opportunity to talk about Manchester United winning football matches, because the last couple of weeks, or since that FA Cup final, we've been drowning in transfer talk and ownership talk. And I think we do forget sometimes that we are a football club and sort of enjoy watching football. And we did get to see that for the first time in a few weeks with Manchester United, two teams pretty much, first half and second half, getting the job done over Leeds United. And a lot of talking points in and around that second half performance, because it's the one that stole the show. And it's not stole the show. It wasn't this sort of dramatic end into a football match or anything, but ultimately there are one or two talking points. And anytime you do get 3 points, or I say 3 points, but the victory against Leeds United, that is a good thing for Manchester United fans. So I'll give it my 1 or 2 cents in and around those performances of those young players. I think the first half was pretty sort of straightforward in regards to personnel and sort of their, you'd say, sort of 6 out of 10 performance. Just first day of pre-season. I don't think we can judge anything in regards to performances, but do let us know your thoughts on the match, because I think with one of these things, okay, the players take pre-season in their stride in terms of, okay, they just want minutes, that they just want sort of fitness in their legs. So I think we as fans, or we see a player perform, we think, hang on, is this going to change their career? Is he going to be a Manchester United player in the future? So in terms of the players, I think just move on from this, no doubt. But obviously a great moment for one or two of the youngsters, especially that young Emran who scored the goal and got an assist as well. So we'll talk about him. And just let us know your thoughts. Justin in the chat, good to see you, Justin. Hope all is well. And if you are happy with Man United winning football matches, please do leave a like on the video. That would be very much appreciated. Fingers crossed Larry can join us. Not sure where he is, but as I said, not passing up the opportunity to talk about Man United winning. So I'll pretty much, as I said, try and keep it relatively short, go through 1 to 11, also 1 to 22 really, to be honest. And just my general thoughts on their performances. So that first half 11 was a Tom Heaton goal, well, almost that back 4/back 5. Barring Alvaro Fernandez, that's Premier League back 5, back 4 with your goalkeeper. In terms of if we line with that up against Wolves on the first day of the season, I don't think anyone loses any sleep. Okay, you put Malacia or Luke Shaw in for Alvaro Fernandez. Okay, perfect. That's a team that sort of beat Wolves, no doubt about that. And even look, I've, as said, made my feelings clear about Alvaro Fernandez for a while now. Maybe 2 years ago, I did a video thinking that this guy has a career in the game, whether it be at Manchester United, I'm not sure, but I do really like Alvaro Fernandez. So if he lined up against Wolves at left back, obviously not going to be the case. But I think that's a Premier League back 4, not a Premier League back 4 to go and win the title. But can you get a job done against Wolves? Yeah, no doubt. So that back 4, in regards to Tom Heaton, including him in that, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 2 World Cup winners at centre back, then the young kid at left back, I think it was your standard, weren't troubled at all. You'd say you standard 6 or 7 out of 10, didn't put a foot wrong. Alvaro Fernandez is probably the standout in regards to giving us something fresh to look at. In regards to, we know what Wan-Bissaka is going to give us, we know what Varane and Martinez are going to give us, no doubt. So I don't think there's any point in evaluating their performance or minutes. We know what they are. They're probably 3 players who are definitely going to start against Wolves. Maybe Diego Dalot has a sort of say in that, but yeah, that's our first choice. But Alvaro Fernandez, I thought, showed something. Now, again, is that enough to get over Luke Shaw? Definitely not. Is it enough to get over Terrell Malacia? That's a tough one. Look, at the moment, no, it's 45 minutes in pre-season. You can't judge a performance. Eric Ten Hag will be the first to tell you that. It's just about minutes and sort of gaining a little bit of experience. So for me, Malacia is still ahead of him. But in terms of what I've seen from the player, Fernandez, if I was to want to have who's going to have a better career in the game, potentially Fernandez. So I would be looking at potentially Fernandez, if a good pre-season over the next 1 or 2 weeks. Is he second in that? Again, that's a big shout. I definitely don't want to get carried away, but I do like what I see from the left back. So fingers crossed he can continue. It would have been good if he got his head on that goal, sort of stretching for it a little bit over the back of his head. And it would have been brilliant for him to grab a goal. But Alvaro Fernandez and the rest of the back 4, I thought was brilliant. But good to see a few other people in the chat. Mum's in the chat. Good to see you. And Rob as well. I saw this about 2 minutes before we went live. 85 million for Hoyle, and that's a discussion. I'll try and keep this transfer free, most of this chat, but I'm sure ONANA, and obviously 85 million for Hoyle, walk away. Mason Mount, we threatened to walk away. if they're going to waste our time with 85 million for Hoyland, walk away. Find a better club to do business with, because that's silly. But 50 million silly. 85 million is just, if there's anything serious in that from Atalanta's side of things, that's just wasting everyone's time. That's shit. But God, would it shock you if Manchester United go and spend that? Probably not. So into midfield, interesting one with midfield. Obviously got the debut of Mason Mount. I thought defensively very good. One or two good sort of balls. Maybe could have grabbed a goal or two, which obviously changes the perception of his performance. But I think from what I saw of Mason Mount's performance, not just what I saw with my eyes of his performance, but the reaction to his performance was simply an absolute waste of money. What a shocking signing. Or some people were saying, oh my God, drop Bruno Fernandes. He's our next number 10. It was somewhere in between. I thought he was good. Not bad, not good. It was just one of those ones. I liked what I saw, especially from the energy point of view, in terms of his very box-to-box. And sometimes he was picking the ball up off the back four and then obviously sort of getting in the box. Unfortunately, it would have been a brilliant chip if the ball went in. But I thought you saw both sides of the game for Mason Mount, so I thought he was very good. Kobe Mainoo was, I don't know if it was the standout. I don't think it was a standout performance by Kobe Mainoo, but it was probably what we wanted to see in regards to, okay, he's in that first team. It was a clear first team and second team. He was included in that first team and was just at home, was just dominant. As I said, in regards to that back four and Alvaro Fernandes, that looked like a Premier League back four. If you look at Kobe Mainoo, that looked like you don't want to say a direct replacement for Casemiro because he's far from that. But take away Kobe Mainoo and the age and just say that was your backup. He was a 33-year-old coming in for Casemiro after Casemiro's been suspended. Yeah, no, I could see that. That's a performance from a mature professional. Yeah, that's what you got from Kobe Mainoo. So to see dominant, again, not a dominant display, but a assured display and comfortable, looked like he sort of belonged at the table. So that's all you can ask for Kobe Mainoo. So hopefully Eric Ten Hag saw one or two things and does reward him with future minutes. There's definitely something there. As you say, Kobe Mainoo was in that first team. There definitely was a clear youth team and the senior team. Great to see him involved in that. And I thought it was, again, not brilliant, but just as brilliant as he needed to be. Did his job. So really impressed with Kobe Mainoo. Definitely looked assured out there. And yeah, I think every Manchester United fan definitely holds a little bit of hope that he could be the one. Well, we have that every year. Kobe Mainoo, this one. If there's someone to make it through, potentially it is him. Fingers crossed. And the other one, Hannibal. I like Hannibal in midfield. A lot of people say, oh, can you throw him out wide? And obviously any young player, it is hard to sort of give them a chance in their preferred position if they are a striker or a central midfielder. A lot of strikers or midfielders have to get that sort of their first 2 or 3 years of senior football out wide. And if they can cut it out wide, then they can move back into the middle. Hannibal's one of those players. Is he good enough to play for Manchester United in the middle at the moment? Probably not. So whereas a lot of his appearances going to be, they're going to be out wide in certain areas like that. So I was happy to see him in the midfield, and I thought he was really good. Unfortunately, didn't get a goal, but I always look at it from a point of view in regards to when a youth player gets their chance. I look at it and I think, look, obviously I do want to see what they do on the ball. If they can get an assist or grab a goal or go past players, okay, that's brilliant. My main thing in terms, especially these pre-season games, when you're evaluating a young player, put my sort of manager hat on it and look at what the manager would be telling him. And all these players can play. If you tell Diallo or Ahmad, Hannibal, Mainoo, whoever, you tell them how to get on the ball, they can all play. They're professional footballers for Man United. So I don't care about the quality. Obviously, the quality of the cream will rise to the top, but he's a good player, so he doesn't need to prove anything to me there. What I would be looking at from a Hannibal, which I got, is the defensive work rate in terms of his pressing. He was aware he was getting in attack. His tackles, he was tracking back. Remember that tackle he did right on the 6-yard box to save a goal at the defensive end? I thought he's brilliant. So that's what I would have been looking at if I'm Eric Ten Hag. Looking and thinking, hang on, he's putting a shift in. He's listening to what I want. And is that enough to be in the first team for Manchester United? Probably not. But in terms of doing sort of what's asked of him and putting his name in the hat, I think Hannibal did very well. Now, obviously, he does have great quality, no doubt about that, but he has to have those both sides of the game. But we've seen that even at Anfield when he came on. Now, performance-wise, he was probably woeful at Anfield. He gave away a goal. But in regards to showing what we want as Manchester United fans, he put himself about, and that's the minimum requirement. Of course, it's nothing to celebrate. But Hannibal, I really like him. What I just liked, I liked him in midfield. I didn't like him if he was shootout, sort of played out wide or out left in a sort of unpreferred position. I like Eric Ten Hag, gave him 45 minutes in the senior team in his, I'd say, preferred position in that sort of number 10/8 role. I like him really box to box. And it will be up to him to continue a bit of sort of good form in this pre-season. Up to him to how he takes that or not. On the left-hand side, we have that young Forson. I hadn't seen any of him. I thought he was definitely going to the second team if he was to get any minutes. So very interesting to see him in the first team or in the first half squad. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's writing anything home about his performance that is the next Ryan Giggs or anything. But I thought solid display. What a great experience for him. I think that's all you can say. We're not going to say it was a good performance or a bad performance. just did his job, and sort of a great experience for him, no doubt. Definitely keen to see. You would assume he'll play heavily in the Wrexham game, and good to see how he develops and sort of what Erik ten Hag does view of him. And on the other side, Ahmad was probably one bit of a standout in regards to especially getting involved and sort of making things happen. And definitely, I wouldn't say like a matured performance compared to what we have seen, because we have seen when he does appear for Manchester United, he does have quite a mature head on him. While he is that young player who can sort of jink past players and sort of have that youthful exuberance, he is a player who sort of takes his time and picks the correct pass always, even when he first came into the squad. So I just think, I don't want to say he's developed that maturity, which obviously he has out on loan, no doubt. But in regards to, he looked like he had a year of senior football compared to what he had to. So I think the developer of Ahmad was very good. Obviously, maybe could add 1 or 2 goals, or maybe a little bit of sort of better end product in regards to that final third. But did we really have a striker? That obviously does change, which goes into the next name. But that sort of does change your approach for a wide man into that end product. So Ahmad, I thought very good. He's one person who definitely needs a big pre-season if he wants his season to be at Old Trafford, or if he's going to get another loan. Even if he does brilliant, a loan might be the best bet. Who knows? But if it performs like that, especially Jadon Sancho doesn't quite perform, but maybe there is a sort of a path into the first team that goes into the striker of the first team. And that's why you can't be too harsh on Jadon Sancho. He's not a striker playing in that false 9 position / striker. Now there's the one ball that came across to him from Hannibal, I think, cut it back. Striker, defender, left back, right. He should do better. He obviously should do better. That's nothing to do with his performance or output. That's just one simple bit of execution. Let himself down, no doubt. Now he could have done with the confidence, so he could only have himself to blame for that miss. But in regards to his performance, it's one of those ones. It's a first 45 minutes of pre-season. I think for evaluating performances of the senior professionals, it's not the game to do it. He should have done better, no doubt. But it is one of those. Jadon Sancho's going to be judged on how he performs during the season when points are up for grabs, not in pre-season games against Leeds. So he'll be better off for the 45 minutes. Could have done with a goal or a bit of a better performance to just to help his confidence, no doubt. But a shame there, but nothing sort of. I wouldn't have any huge concerns over Jadon Sancho's performance, no doubt. But I'll just hit 1 or 2 comments before we get into the second half team, which I think is a lot of the discussion around today. Chris here, I hope this, and tend to agree. Again, mine's maybe more so hope, but I do see a situation where it does arise. Sancho will have a good season this year. Fingers crossed. Adam, good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Really liked Hannibal's performance last night. Was impressed. Agree there, mate. And Box in 2023, I'd say Højlund first. Look, you do compare it to other players. Yeah, it probably is the price, but it's crazy money in my opinion. But look at the money we've spent in the past. There's no doubt about that. But Box as well, I'm very sceptical of any friendlies loans these days. Garner excelled at Forest for 2 years and was booted. Iqbal excelled last summer in the friendlies, got 0 minutes in the following, and now sold for less than £1 million. And yeah, definitely, and look, I feel guilty of when I was saying Alvaro Fernandez playing against Wolves. That is an overreaction from me. I fully understand. Hannibal, as much as I like him, you're a betting man, his career is not at Old Trafford, and that's through no sort of lack of quality or desire from his end. It's just in terms of what's in front of him. I'll get into Charlie Savage in a little bit in regards to this segment. I thought Charlie Savage was brilliant. Is he going to play at Manchester United as sort of ahead of Casemiro, as sort of week in, week out, and sort of be that sort of backup? No, I don't think that's sort of best for Manchester United or best for him in regards to his stage of his career. So many of these players, it's so few and far between. Like, go back, Marcus Rashford's the only one at the moment. Marcus Rashford and Scott McTominay, the only ones having careers at Manchester United in recent memory. Other than that, like even Sir Alex Ferguson, what a great youth record he had. Over his last 10 years, it was only Darren Fletcher and John O'Shea who really sort of came through. Now, there were young players who he signed, like Ronaldo, Rooney, etc. But from the youth team, it's very rare a player comes through and has a career at Manchester United. So we have so much hope when all these players come in. How often does it actually happen? Now, 1 or 2 can come in and have that Federico Makeda moment or something brilliant, which will last a long time. But a very rare player does come in and have a career. We're currently seeing it with Marcus Rashford, which is brilliant. But we do need to show patience and a little bit of sort of understanding, level-headedness, no doubt, when looking at these young players coming through. Now, in saying that, I'm throwing this guy straight in the deep end, second half teams, Matty Kovar. I said I was fortunate enough to meet him down in Melbourne pretty much this time, like probably on this day last year. We're down in Melbourne for pre-season. That time definitely does fly. And I had a quick chat to Kovar, and he was just wonderful. I was in awe of how bloody tall he was. He's an absolute giant of a man. But I'm thinking, okay, this guy speaks extremely well. He sort of definitely loves the club, and he definitely wants to be. And I said, oh, hang on, I'll keep a bit of an eye on this guy. I'll warm to him a little bit, and then obviously he goes away to the Czech Republic with Sparta Prague, wins the league, as a young goalkeeper. So he's obviously got something about him. And when he comes in, I think there's so much scrutiny and so many eyes on a goalkeeper's performance now for Manchester United in terms of, okay, well, we've got rid of the guy who always kicks it out or doesn't want the ball at his feet. Now let's see what Eric Ten Hag wants. You throw Kovar in there and very, very, very comfortable on the ball in terms of very sort of productive with the ball in regards to playing the ball into tight areas, into Charlie Savage, into Gore, out to the fullbacks. And I thought, and he's actually goalkeeping ability as well. Came and collected 1 or 2 crosses, I believe. Looked at presence in the box simply because his physicality, no doubt. And on the ball, brilliant. Now, is he ONANA brilliant? Probably not. But in terms of compared to David De Gea, who I was a fan of, definitely night and day in regards to the attributes Kovar does possess. So the interesting bit with him now is ONANA's coming in. There's no doubt about it. I think ONANA, there might be something done in regards to Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein today in regards to the ONANA deal. Now, he's not going to be first-choice goalkeeper this season, so what do you do with Kovar? Now, he's just had a taste of playing first-team football and winning trophies. So is he going to take the backup position at Manchester United? Me as a Manchester United fan, and as he sort of portrays he is, I would like to see that that's an ideal sort of solution. My dream job growing up was backup goalkeeper for Manchester United. I got to sit on the bench for 38 games a season, best seat in the house, and watch the game. It was the dream job. You just collect balls at training. Now, as a professional goalkeeper, Kovar might have a different mentality to me. So he probably wants to go out and get football. Does he want to be second choice at Manchester United? Probably not. So Manchester United, do we have a second choice goalkeeper at the moment? Let's say Dean Henderson leaves. Is Tom Heaton your backup keeper? Now, very well could be, but there is a solution where we're eyeing this kid from Japan as well to potentially come in as a second goalkeeper. So I think it's up to Kovar. I think if Kovar wanted to stay and sort of provide competition as well, if ONANA has a rough start, okay, Kovar could slip in, or does Kovar want to sort of go and pursue his career elsewhere, which you can't stand in his way if he wants to do that, no doubt. So I think the opportunity is there for Kovar to have a, let's say, career at Manchester United or sort of nail down that second spot. If he wants that, that's brilliant. I'd love to see a youth product come through and sort of contribute to the first team in that way, but he can also sort of sit down and say, hang on, no, I deserve a little bit more than this, and who are we to argue if he's winning trophies at senior level? He might want that, but I would like to see him given that opportunity rather than go and buy a goalkeeper and then buy a second goalkeeper. If we have one from the youth team playing, we'll involve him on the bench at least. Time will tell. So do let me know what you think of Kovar. Boxy is saying, if we sell Kovar, then what's the point? He's perfectly possible second or at least I think second keeper. And is that possibly that's an overreaction in regards to real quality? Let's say ONANA is sort of suspended or injured for a Champions League quarterfinal against Real Madrid. Do you throw Kovar in there? Okay, then it might get a little bit sort of dicey, but throw these kids in the deep end. I think that is what Manchester United is about. Do need to be patient and sort of realistic around it, but I'd like to see it. But as I said, with a lot of these loans, and I think Kovar is the perfect example, will come down to the individual and what he wants. So I'm happy either way. I would like to see him stay though. Fingers crossed and save buying 2 goalkeepers. No doubt about that. Then, okay, moving forward into the back four. Gerardo, I've always called him Gerardo, but I assume it's Gerardo. Got him from Barcelona a few years ago, I believe. Good. Again, is he going to challenge Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Diogo Dalot, who are both on new contracts, or Dalot's on a new contract? Wan-Bissaka's performing very well. No, he's not going to. So I don't see a future at Manchester United at the moment for Gerardo. That's no criticism of him. I just think it is the way it goes. But I thought performed quite well. There is definitely a player there. He's kind of that player you can probably see goes back to Spain and has a career in Spain. And all power to it. You'd love to see a career at Manchester United like any other youth player. I just think the situation at right back, we've got 2 experienced pros at right back performing well. He's just not going to get a look in. But you'd love to see more of him on pre-season, put himself in the shop window. And who knows? I still think there is Aaron Wan-Bissaka hasn't signed a new contract, so we don't know if Diogo Dalot moves up the pecking order and Aaron Wan-Bissaka sees a move elsewhere. A space could open up, but I don't see anything there at the moment. Centre back I was really happy with Rhys Bennett. Obviously, he's captain of the youth team when they won the FA Youth Cup final with Alejandro Garnacho's goals. And Will Fish, I thought performed well, and not in regards to it was a monumental display at the back or anything. I just think in regards to they're up against an experienced pro. Now, I think Patrick Bamford is one of the worst strikers in the league, and he's a professional player. That's not to sort of shit on him or anything, but he's an experienced pro. He scores goals. The Premier League and the Championship. So for 2 young kids to come in and play against a professional striker, I thought did very well, extremely well, especially playing out from the back with Kovar. I was really happy with them now. They're going to play over look, even Harry Maguire moves above them. No one sort of like to admit that, but he does come in above them. Your Victor Lindelof's to come in, then obviously you got your 2 World Cup winners. So I was Reece Bennett and Will Fish going to get minutes for Manchester United this season? No. And that's unfortunate, but it's the nature of the beast as Manchester United. So very, very good performances. You'd like to see more performance of that throughout pre-season. But when the experienced pros come back and get more fit, they're obviously going to move down the pecking order. That's not to say their careers are done at Manchester United, but it's just one of those. Left back Brandon Williams. I thought that the main thing I found interesting with Brandon Williams, which sort of goes into the next discussion in regards to midfield, it is what is him coming in and having some minutes. Interesting, Fernandez was ahead of him in left back in the first team, but also he comes into this second team as the experienced player, but didn't have the captain's armband. Was that a bit of a punishment from Erik ten Hag in regards to the social media outburst after the treble? I'm not sure. Or does he just not did he have Charlie Savage ahead of Brandon Williams? I'm not sure, but that was interesting. When I saw him out there and Savage with the armband, I thought out of all the players there, if you had to pick one who was going to wear the armband, or Brandon Williams. He's made a lot of appearances for the first team when you compare him to the others. So that was not a criticism of Erik ten Hag or Brandon Williams. That was interesting to me. And his performance was what it was. What you're going to get from Brandon Williams? Not good, not bad, just decent enough, especially. But again, 45 minutes in pre-season. Definitely can't read too much into it. Then go into midfield. Charlie Savage, I thought was extremely good. Now, again, it's unfortunate with Charlie Savage. I think there's a player there. What's in our midfield at the moment in regards to the makeup of it, especially the age profile, the quality we have in certain areas? Is Charlie Savage going to force his way into sort of get the games he needs at Manchester United this season? I don't see it. I thought he didn't put a foot wrong, especially playing out from the back, getting the ball off Kovar, getting the ball off Bennett and Will Fish. Did a brilliant game, almost sort of dominated that second half, albeit at quite a sort of slower pace. It was a bit of a training game in that second half. Looked a good player. It's just one of those ones, not judging performance or anything, but is there anything to Casemiro to look over his shoulder? No, it's not. And that's not to criticise Charlie Savage at all. I really like him, and I thought it's a very solid display. But I'd say nothing more than that. Dan Gould next to him, I thought, again, solid. Is he going to have I always say this to all these players, they're going to have a career at Manchester United. Unlikely not. I'd love nothing more. Seen Mark Goldbridge yesterday as well. I try not to bring him into it, but I've seen him and he's tried to say that it was out of context. I've gone back and watched the clip either side of it. It's what he means, sort of deep down, saying if you want Ahmad to stay, if you want Hannibal to stay, if you want Charlie Savage, all these young players to stay at the club, that means your Glazers in. He tried to say it was out of context. In terms of what he truly means, he wanted shiny new toys over the youth players. And I just say with all these players, while I don't see a huge future for many of them, which is just a realistic view, I'd love nothing more than to see them given a chance. So say stay around for a season. Okay, Charlie Savage here, have 20, 30 games a season this season. Really take your chance. If you don't take it, you don't take it. Then we go buy a solution. But I love nothing more than a young player given the opportunity. If they succeed or don't, that's up to the football gods. But Manchester United is built on giving these players the platform. And if you do want to see a young player like a Hannibal stay, or you want to see Emeran stay or Gerardo stay, you're not Glazer. Don't listen to stupid sort of thoughts and opinions like that. That's part of being a Manchester United fan, wanting to see these young players given the best possible opportunity. Now, so that was Gore Savage. Who was the other number 10? Who was the other man in midfield? I should have the app up here. His testimony, patience. Who else do we have in midfield? We've got Hugo, Shoatire, Bennett Hugo, Dan Gore. My little Norwegian friend, Isaac Hansen Aaron. Again, very good player. Mentioned Dan Gore there, Box. Yeah, Dan Gore, just in regards to performance, just solid. 6 out of 10. No, not good, not bad. It was good to see him out there. I think he'll feature against Wrexham, no doubt. But in terms of that number 10 role, a bit more advanced, Isaac Hansen Aaron. Again, a player I really like, so silky with the ball, so comfortable on the ball. Is he going to sort of play over Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Mason Mount? Probably not. So I don't see that future for him, unfortunately. But in regards to what he does provide, he's a brilliant player. I'd love to see him play at Manchester United. Gets about the pitch, sort of gets in a tackle for a little fella. I thought really good to see it, and obviously a great moment for him in terms of he had a big reception at the hotel. It's obviously he'd been from Norway and a loud cheer over the stadium when his name was announced. So it's a great moment for him representing Manchester United in his home country. And like all the other youth players on pre-season, you hope to see him perform more. And he obviously got the assist for Emeran. So a great little pass. Was offside. Not sure with VAR if it would have been allowed or not allowed, but great assist for him. And again, give him 1 or 2 more appearances. He performs well. You don't know. 1 or 2 injuries throughout pre-season. We don't get a transfer over the line. These things can change. And we've got a Shoatire on the left-hand side. Shoatire is that one for me. I think good player. where's he going to fit in with Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Sancho, Anthony? I just don't see a way in for Shoatir, and it seems to be a very common theme amongst all these youth players. But performed well. He's been around a while now. Is he on loan at Bolton, I believe? I should know that. Unfortunately, I don't know. Apologies about that. I think he was on loan at Bolton. I think he gets on a loan. If not, can you sell him? That's not to be critical of him. I think he does sort of have a lot of skill. He does have a bright future in the game. I just don't think it's going to be at Manchester United. But good to see him out there performing. Emeran's first time I've seen him play. In regards to the performance, I don't think there was anything that stood out. In regards to, as I said, I think Hannibal, I thought Mainu, I thought Alvaro Fernandez probably had a better display than Noah Memoran. But a goal and assist and a well-taken goal as well. What a moment for him. Brilliant to see it. And as I said, at the start of this sort of preview for the preseason, take your chance. No matter how you perform, if you score a goal, if you get an assist, okay, the manager can't drop you, or the manager has to involve you in some way the next week. Then you do it the next week. If you keep going, anything can happen. So he's done all his, done everything he can there by grabbing a lovely little goal, and obviously the assist for the second goal. And fair play to him. First, I've really seen him play, and he's a big guy, so he's obviously got that physical edge to him, which will stand him sort of well moving into that transition to senior football. I'd have to sort of study his performance a little bit more to make a proper judgment on him. But mainly for this moment, as I said, a goal against Leeds for a Manchester United player on your first appearance, just a great moment for him, regardless of what his career unfolds like. Very good performance, no doubt, or very good moment for him, no doubt. And up front, Hugo. Is he going to be... Well, at the moment, he might be leading the line for Manchester United in regards to our only fit striker. So again, in regards to his performance, he is what he is. I don't see a Manchester United striker there, but I do like him. And ultimately, we don't have a striker. So if he scores, well, he's got to play the next game. He scores again, well, he's got to play the next game. And suddenly the season's going to be around. And if we haven't signed a striker, if I'll be walking away from this Højlund deal for 85 million, is Hugo a striker? Now, that's not going to happen. But all he can do is score goals at the moment. And credit to him. Definitely sort of people get started against Wrexham, you would believe. So fair play to him, and obviously scoring a goal for Manchester United, a great moment for him, no doubt. And El here, good to see you, mate. Hopefully the manager plays the youth during the friendlies. Rest the first team players. I think it's sort of exactly what we did see, the first team in the first half, and the reserve players or youth players in that second half. Now that I think over time, in the next couple of weeks, that first team will play sort of 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and then it'll gradually become closer to 90 minutes. I think there are eight pre-season games. So we do have a while to go in pre-season, but they need minutes. You can't just play the youth throughout the whole pre-season, because then our players will go in sort of far too undercooked for that Wolves match. So there is a balance, but there are so many games. I think there's even games where we play back-to-back days. So it'd be very sort of two different squads where you are going to get the first team and the youth players sort of getting their combined minutes. But overall, beating Manchester United beating Leeds 2-0, whether it be a friendly or an FA Cup final, I will take it. And it definitely beats the transfer talk. As I said, maybe finish with a bit of ONANA discussion, because I do think that will be done today. But ever since that FA Cup final, where we wanted to get away from football in regards to how it unfolded, it's been ownership talk, it's been Glazers talk, it's been transfers non-stop sort of thing. While that is exciting, we're here every day talking about it, no doubt. It does get tedious, it does get boring. We're a football club, we want to talk about football, and that's what we're here for. And great to see Man United do what they do. Boxy, would you say number one, Garnacho, Palestra? I forgot Palestra in this whole discussion, hasn't he? He's been off doing his own pre-season training. Mainu, Ahmad, Fernandez, Kova are the most likely to become first-team regulars in the future. Palestra is one where I just think there'll be a little bit of a demand for him elsewhere, whether that be in the Premier League or elsewhere. I see a future where someone wants to buy Palestra. Now, there isn't many sort of rumours about that. It's just a hunch I have. I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong about pretty much everything before. But with that, I just think there is a sort of path elsewhere for Palestra. Garnacho, you kind of say he's part of the first team now. He is a young player, no doubt, and we do have to treat him as a young player. We can't be too over the top with him. But in regards to his status within the squad, as we've seen with last year, you could argue he's in our strongest 11. So I don't think, me personally, I don't put Garnacho in this young category. Now, he is, no doubt. But in regards to this next crop, I think Garnacho, I wouldn't say has made it, but he kind of has made it. He's in that setup. He doesn't have another step to go. He can only drop down away from Manchester United now. So I think Garnacho is there. Definitely needs to improve, no doubt. But I wouldn't put him in the youth category, which sounds a bit stupid. So we'll go to the other names. Yeah, the names here, Ahmad. Yeah, Ahmad's so hard. He could come in and be brilliant for Manchester United, or he could sort of need another loan. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Ahmad. A big pre-season might sway my opinion and sort of tend to think maybe there is an Old Trafford career this season. My hunch at the moment says another loan, but if he keeps performing well and maybe Jadon Sancho doesn't have a great pre-season, maybe Ahmad does potentially go there. So Ahmad, I'm 50-50 on in regards to, I definitely see a career, whether it be this season. I'm not sure. I'm 50-50 whether that's going to be at Manchester United or away. The other names there, Fernandes, personally, I would put him ahead of Malacia, and I like Malacia just in regards, and Malacia maybe a little bit harsh last season in regards to a lot of our treatment of him, but maybe over scrutiny of Malacia. I think he was actually quite good for Manchester United. But Fernandes, I do think, so we've got this kid from Real Madrid and Manchester United. There must be something about him. So I do think there is a future there. And just physically, I think you potentially play that left centre back. If we go to all three at the back in terms of the way I think modern football will go, is almost your perfect sort of left-sided centre back. So I like Alvaro Fernandes. I do see futures. Obviously had the year at Preston North End, so he's had senior football under his belt. Maybe do you go get another move potentially in the Championship, maybe bottom end of the Premier League, maybe, no doubt. So Fernandes, I just think with Shaw and Malacia, it would be harsh to throw Malacia out now. So I don't see I like Fernandes. I would put him in there. I don't think Fernandes is going to get those minutes at Old Trafford this season. I'd love it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Mainu's the interesting one. Very interesting because what's best? What's best for him? If we here as fans would say, okay, have 10, 15 games off the bench for Manchester United this season, we would love that. Would love to see him come on when we're 2-0 up, replace Casemiro, come on and just perform well and just be part of the furniture. We would love that. Is he going to develop into the player we want in 5-10 years' time? Is he going to be the Manchester United superstar like a Marcus Rashford now, like a Bruno Fernandes, like a Casemiro, if that's his development? Or does he need 90 minutes sort of first-team football for over the next 2 to 3 years? That's not going to come at Old Trafford. Should he go out on loan? And I'm not sure. That's the flip of the coin. That's why the managers and the coaching staff and the football department are paid a lot of money. They have to make these decisions. What's best for the player? What's best for their football and sort of aspirations? What's best for their personal life in regards to the lessons they're going to learn as people as they grow up? That's obviously what Sir Alex Ferguson did extremely well. That's what they're going to have to do with Kobbie Mainoo. The direct path might be into the first team now and play 30 games. The direct path might be a season back in the reserve. He's still so young. I think he's still 17 or maybe he's 18 now. He's still so young. I think it's one of those ones as well. We do need to sort of take a little bit of a step back. Me personally, and again, this is selfish. Again, this is probably wrong. I would like to just keep him in the squad and play him where need be. Carling Cup, sort of off the bench in the Champions League if we're sort of got a comfortable lead or something, or we're 3-0 up, throw Kobbie Mainoo on for 20 minutes. That's what I would just like to see. I like to see young players come off the bench at Old Trafford and sort of potentially get into the first team. If I was Erik ten Hag, maybe I'd say, no, go out and play senior football in the Championship, go get 30, 40 appearances. And maybe that is the right thing. So I'm not sure. Let me know your thoughts. That's a really tricky one. Al here saying if we've been ripped off with Højlund, we should get Gonçalo Ramos instead. Ramos is way better, 21 years old. We can't be paying over 50 million for Højlund. Regards to the price tag, I agree 100% with Højlund. Ramos, I've only seen at the World Cup. And look what a World Cup to score a hat-trick over Cristiano Ronaldo, no doubt. A lot of people do talk about him and rave about him. I wouldn't sort of disagree, but I just haven't seen too much of him. But he is a name there. And potentially, I'm not sure what style of player he is in regards to Erik ten Hag and that sort of that press in front three. I assume he's probably quite high energetic, but I'm not quite sure. But a lot of people do talk about him. And look, even if I know nothing about him, I know he's better than spending 85 million on Højlund. I do know that. So maybe it is the right bit of business. I'm not sure. And Box, if we're struggling to buy or find value in the market, maybe it's worth using some of the youth. That's what Manchester United is. No doubt. Now, we do need to aspire and sort of do go and get the best, of course. There's no doubt about that at all. And we shouldn't be in a position where we don't have the money to go and spend what the manager needs, of course. But sometimes the manager's hands are tied. Sometimes life isn't fair. Sometimes it's not fair, and you do have to sort of use the cards that you were dealt. And sometimes at Manchester United, they are the youth players. And we've seen in the past, you give them an opportunity, they will surprise you. So you can't sort of rely on them, depend, okay, we're going to sort of integrate six youth players into the first team squad and we're going to go win a Premier League title this season. That's not going to happen. A lot of people will point to 95, 96 with the class of 92. That didn't, like I said, that didn't really happen. We had great professionals and a very experienced team around those young players. That's what won us the Premier League. We didn't win the Premier League with young players. It was the experience that got us there. Now, we do have great experience in this team, no doubt. And I just don't think I think the days are gone where you can introduce a whole sort of, not a whole youth team, but 5 or 6 youth players into the team. I think, can we get Kobbie Mainoo in the team? Can Garnacho become a permanent fixture? Sort of, I think you can have one, maybe two sort of into a team at the moment. Like young, forget his name. Manchester City had a right back this season. Sort of came in, Rico Lewis. I forget the name. Manchester City came and played quite a few big games, but he was the one player. Phil Foden was all sort of quite established. You can sort of have one come in and just sort of do a job where need be. Rico Lewis, box cheers. That was the name that did ring a bell. Yeah, I do believe that. And that's sort of what Manchester United sort of fluffed around with in recent seasons, or always won. I think Garnacho was last year. Who was the one before that? Was probably Mason Greenwood to be before then. I think you can always sort of get away with one. This year, if you're to bet on it, you'll probably be Mainu. I would like to see Hannibal, just in regards to the position he takes up. I do think we do need that extra legs in midfield. I think Hannibal potentially only has this season at Old Trafford if both McTominay and Fred were to leave. Fred does look like leaving. McTominay is still up in the air. I think we both to leave. Hannibal might see a sort of clearer path into the first team. Are both McFred going to leave? I'd say probably not. Then that obviously leaves Hannibal in a tricky spot. Do you sell him or do you loan him? I'm not sure. Anthony Elanga obviously looks like he is Everton bound for. I haven't seen the price tag. I think around 10 million. Which again, is that a good price or a bad price? I think a lot of us, in regards to Elanga's contribution to United, would say, yeah, hang on, 10 million is probably fine. But then we see other players who I think Manchester City, I think, are selling one of their youth players who hasn't made a first team appearance for £8 million. Never heard of him. Not fair play to him, and I'm sure he's a great player. I'm sure he has a great career in the game. Anthony Elanga's got to be worth more than 10. Like, he's a player who, I don't know how many appearances does he have for Manchester United. You'd have to say, my guess, I could be way off. I have to say he's had at least 30 or 40 appearances for Man United. He's a senior international for Sweden. He has to look. We might sit here and say, yeah, 10 million is probably fair. You compare it to the market, he's got to go for more than that. But it is what it is. That is Manchester United, no doubt about that. Box here, all over tonight, Box. Cheers. Yeah, Shea Charles, 10 million to Southampton. Never heard of him. And again, he might have made a first-team appearance in Manchester City. I'm not sure, but he definitely hasn't got Anthony Elanga's numbers, no doubt. Patrick, good to see you, mate. Hope all is well, mate. Good to see you. And James Trafford, 20 million. Man City goalkeeper to Burnley, never played above league. I'm lost for words in regards to some of the fees other clubs do get. Absolutely crazy. And you look at the moment, Liverpool, Jordan Henderson and Fabinho potentially off to Saudi Arabia in regards to... We need to start selling our players to Saudi Arabia, not in regards to them going to Saudi Arabia or the moral debate or anything, just simply the funds they've got to give you. Like, you could get Fred over there for 50 million in terms of what they're doing, and no doubt about it. So I'm actually very much enjoying that Jordan Henderson story at the moment in regards to a lot of the stuff he came out with. And I don't want to get into the LGBTQ plus whatever debate it is, but he came out very strongly in his own sort of personal sort of words talking about that throughout that lockdown period and everything. And if he goes to play in Saudi Arabia, that'd be very interesting. But that's Liverpool and Jordan Henderson's problem, not ours. But it's interesting. But as I said, I do appreciate everyone in the live chat. I'm having a bit of talk about a football. As I said, ONANA today, you'd probably think ONANA gets done today. Well, I think it's personally done in regards to, I don't think we let David De Gea go and do the full announcement and departure and everything if ONANA isn't done. I do think it is done. There might be one or two sort of potential image rights or sort of little details to be sorted out, but I do think it is done. But in regards to that official, here we go, or official announcement, my hunch is today. Look, that's Manchester United. Today means tomorrow, and tomorrow means next week. It is one of those things, but ONANA has to be done. My concern at the moment is this Højlund. A lot of people have been talking about in the chat. I welcome the player. Looks a prospect. Yep, fit him in. It probably suits Erik ten Hag in regards to, so especially, as I said, with Hannibal, I don't look at what happens on the ball, look what happens off the ball. Maybe Højlund off the ball in that number 9 position is absolutely brilliant for us in regards to the presser, and that'll bring more goals. Not for 85 million. Now, I'm sure 85 million is nonsense. I'm sure that's Atalanta just sort of posturing a little bit. But I'll be walking away at 50 million. Now, it's hard because he could be I don't want to say next Haaland or Mbappe, but he could be. He might have that sort of ceiling in him. We haven't seen that. But and then at the end of the day, if he does become that, 50 million is an absolute bargain. 85 million would be a bargain. I just don't see that at the moment in regards to, especially the pressing areas we need at the moment in terms of we need guaranteed goals. Is a kid who scored you, and again, not criticising, but a kid who scored 8 goals in the Serie A or whatever, is he got to score you 30 in the Premier League? You'd like to think so, but he's not. Unfortunately, he's not. So that is a debate for another day, which I'm sure I definitely will have with Larry and everyone else in the chat. And out here, Jordan Henderson being offered 700,000 a week at Saudi Arabia. Do they want Maguire? or Sancho. The Saudi Arabia discussion is fascinating at the moment in regards to the money and what they will achieve out of it. And it's interesting. Yeah, no Manchester United players have really been linked. I think Fred, there was a little bit of a rumour. Obviously, does a lot. Potentially, Paul Pogba would be going there as well for only a few million. But yeah, it's amazing when I think not just Jordan Henderson, but I think Fabinho for around 40 million as well. And if they saw Fabinho play last season, then they want to be dropping that to about 40,000 because that guy could not move. He obviously very good pro in his day, but he really struggled last season. So that would be fantastic business, unfortunately, for Liverpool. But look, it is what it is. Fingers crossed one of our players can get linked with Saudi Arabia and we can get a few sort of much needed dollars because at the moment we do look a little bit short of cash after that Mason Mount deal and sort of getting these deals over the line. But as I said, I do think ONANA will be done. And obviously we do need a striker done, no doubt about that. But appreciate everyone joining us. As I said, apologies, a bit of a change in set. We'll be back in my usual location tomorrow or when the next bit of news breaks. Hopefully Larry is able to join us. And yeah, as I said, just good to have a chat with everyone about sort of Manchester United youth products, sort of getting their chance and performing. And as I said at the start, in regards to that opinion that was put out there by a certain someone in regards to you're a Glazer in, if you want to see these youth players stay and given a chance. Now, again, he did try to say it was out of context. It wasn't. He definitely did want shiny new toys. But if you want these young players given a chance over a Hoyland, over a whoever, over a brand new signing, you're well within your right as a Manchester United fan to want that. It doesn't mean you're a Glazer in or anything. It is one of those things. But enough of that. But Tom, good to see you. Sorry, I think you had a comment earlier I didn't read out. Apologies, but I'll read this one to wrap up. Another player that hasn't impressed the Leeds game other than Sancho was Diallo. I don't know how others rate him, but I find he's slow, not a good dribbler, and his shot is as good as Fred's. Ahmed's an interesting one. I thought he actually played well, and not played well as in regards to, okay, he's starting on the right wing against Wolves, but I do see a player there. I think he's actually quite smart. And I think in terms of the way, I kind of get your point, Tom, but in regards to, his body movements and the way he plays the game, kind of an attack into the tricky winger, and those sort of tricky wingers sort of on the end of things, sort of grabbing goals, grabbing assists. I think he's very much in the, this sounds stupid, correct me if I'm wrong, but just in my mind, I kind of see very different in the way they play the game, but in regards to the productivity of a Juan Mata, when Juan Mata used to play on the right, in regards to coming, just making the right decision, not really standing out, but just making a nice little one-touch pass, making a movement here, making a movement there, and just keeping the ball. Now, obviously, got far more pace than Juan Mata, but I just see that comparison. They play it in different ways, but just in regards to the end product, I do see very similarities. A bit different, but I might be talking out my ass, who knows? But I kind of get that feeling. But as I said, thanks for keeping me going for 40 minutes. Good to chat a bit of football. Please do leave a like on your way out if you are happy with Man United's youth coming through, given a chance and performing, and also beating Leeds, no doubt. Hit subscribe as well if you haven't already, and if you haven't hit that notification bell, always good to do that so you can join us whenever we do go live. But fingers crossed Larry will be with us tomorrow night. And until then, everyone have a good day or evening wherever you are, and we'll chat to you in a bit. Cheers.